Are you married in real life?
I am in a relationship. Yes.
Okay, so but not married, just a boyfriend.
No. Yep.
And the reason why I ask, obviously, is he cool with what you do for a living? He would have to be, right?
Yes. Yes. Very, very, very supportive. He's been with me since day one. We discussed it at the get-go. He's been a part of every decision, and I like communication and honesty is obviously the most important part here. Like you couldn't do it without all of that. But yes, he's been. I discussed it with him before I did any of it, so it's been part of the journey.
Does he get in on the OnlyFans or not? Because we've had a few people in the past who just fuck their husbands, and
Yeah.
and then that's a big part of it. Have you guys discussed doing that on OnlyFans?
We've discussed it. We're not at that point yet. We've kept it separate for right now. So I kept work, and personal.
Gotcha. Because one would imagine, let's say your OnlyFans takes off, and like you were saying earlier, with the amount of content you have to put out and ideas you have to execute, it'd be 7 o'clock on a Tuesday, and you're like, ah, shit. John's the only one here. Hey, Connie, can I just use your cock for this thing real quick? And
we'll
then
blur out your face, lay down. I need to get this done.
yes, exactly. Where it's just like, yeah.
Yes, it would be mutually beneficial, but we've not crossed that yet. So
Gotcha. And because I know this is going to sound weird, but is his hog sweet enough for camera? Like, is that ready for prime time? And have you thought about that?
it is absolutely. It would definitely not disappoint the fans.
Okay, cool.
It would definitely not disappoint.
Good. Because that's something that, you would have to take into consideration before getting together
Absolutely.
with him. We're like, man.
It takes a lot to keep up with me anyway, though. So, like, I'm not like in this industry just for the money. I have an enormous sex drive, so it does take a lot to keep up with me anyway.
So when you're talking about enormous, how many times a week on average would you say you have sex outside of porn?
10.
10 times a week? Okay. So you're looking at roughly twice a day, somewhere, right around there.
Sometimes more, but at least once or twice a day. Sometimes 3, but at least once or twice a day.
And has this always been your sex drive, or did it recently start once you got involved in porn?
No, it's always been. So I was married for a significant amount of time,
Okay.
and after my divorce, I always had the desire, but I kind of was under the impression that like my desires didn't matter. So I hid it. I hid that I wanted it and that I was, I had a high sex drive. So after my divorce, I really had what I call like a sexual awakening. I discovered that it's okay to have a high sex drive. It's okay. I taught myself to squirt after my divorce. I was like, what is that? I want to learn. And I taught myself. I was super interested in I'm interested in not just sex itself. I'm interested in the psychology behind it. I think it's just super intriguing how people find other people attractive, how the whole thing works, how your body works, I just think the entire thing is fascinating.
So let's solve the old question here. What is squirting exactly, and how did you teach yourself? What is the fluid?
I'm not sure what the fluid is exactly. I believe that it's a sort of female ejaculation because I can, like, before I go on set, for instance, I will completely empty my bladder because if you're in the middle of a scene, you can't pee, right? So you have to be able to. So I'll completely empty my bladder, and within like a couple of minutes of the scene, I'm squirting. So I argue this all the time that it can't be, if it is urine, it's only a little bit because I have an empty bladder.
Yeah.
So it does help when you're hydrated, but I don't know that it's because of the urination itself. So, but like I said, I could have an empty bladder and still squirt a lot. So
does it feel better squirting, and do you prefer it over just a regular orgasm?
Yes. It's like it's like an orgasm on steroids. It's a whole body release. It's just, yes, it's intense. Like sometimes you can't feel your legs afterwards. It's pretty incredible.
And then with that, obviously, do you have to get like a bed cover? One of our sponsors is ghostbed.com/Drinking Bros. They sell a bed cover for the bed. It doesn't say, I'm looking at the box now, it doesn't say squirting on the back of it. It should. But one would imagine if you don't have something like that, then you're constantly doing laundry.
Yes. Well, I constantly do laundry anyway because of the amount of sex I have. But yes, a bed protector is absolutely necessary, or your mattress would be trash because it doesn't. I mean, you'd have to let it completely dry, and then like it would, yeah. So you definitely need some kind of bed cover. I'll have to look into ghost beds.
Yeah, you'd have to get a goddamn box fan to dry that off if, put that next to the bed. Exactly.
Looks
now,
like an industry fans.
put that, just go into Home Depot and get get
the basement flutter fans that you blow, and
you got 2 leaf blowers in the room, and you're like, hey, mom and dad just had sex. I gotta dry down the bed.
The lights dim in the entire house, so when you plug it
in. Now, does your ex-husband know what you do now, and has he reached out and said, holy shit, I was unaware that you were into that, and I made a huge mistake?
Not the latter of what you just said, but yes, he is absolutely aware. And he told me he was aware through our attorneys. So yes, he is aware.
Oh, Jesus. Are you guys still going through a divorce right now?
No, we're not. We've been divorced 6 years.
Oh,
and so we still have items that like we're fully divorced, like everything's complete. But there's items that like we re-brought up, and so we're still fighting through that. And I think we're on this round for going on our second year now. So my attorney's just literally on my payroll. It's like, yep, all right, whatever. But my attorney's too a huge fan of what I do. But yes, he's aware, and he's a dirtbag, for a lack of another word. He's just a complete and total dirtbag.
No, that's cool. Look, we hear that all the time on this show, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
Yeah,
I don't even know him, and I side with you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, he's done some horrific things to everybody. So he is not a good person, and he had a small penis to boot. So.
Oh, nothing worse than that. You were doing him a favor.
I did do him a favor, so I'm sorry.
Yeah. What's that legal letter like? Because I've gone through my fair share of lawsuits in the past. First of all, the only winner is the lawyers in any of these situations. It's extremely rare that you see the headline of like a McDonald's lady who got burned by the coffee and gets $5 million or whatever it is. It's extremely rare that any of that bullshit ever happens. Usually the lawyers get paid, and then that's kind of it, and then you move on with it, and you come towards some sort of settlement. What's that legal filing where you get the first notice from your lawyer, and you're like, hey, you're not going to believe this. He brought up your porn career. Was he listing specific videos going through like Pornhub or X videos and things like that? How does that work exactly?
So it was through the ongoing case, and he actually physically recorded streams of certain shows that I had done and sent them to my attorney and other sources, but those sources I can't name at the moment. But
sure.
He took screenshots and screen grabs of videos and sent them to my attorney and said that I'm aware that is doing adult performing now. So that was, and he wanted all my bank records.
Gotcha. Because I didn't know.
That's what it was about. That's what it was really about. It wasn't what I was doing. It was how much I was making from it.
Right. I didn't know if he put like specific titles in there, like, stepmom don't like F's, but like D's, Johnny Love, Gigi Dior. Like, I don't know if it's that specific,
It was just videos. So he sent like a thumb drive of screen grabs of videos and viewings of different shows. So he actually went on like my Chatterbait shows.
Okay.
And was as one of my viewers and recorded my shows and then sent them to my attorney.
I bet he jacked off. One more time.
I want to think about that.
You know what I'm saying? Like one more time to an ex where you're just like, I'll throw one down here. Like I'm here for obviously this lawsuit, but she looks great. Haven't seen her in a while. Might as well, rub one out and just kind of move on, and then sadly type it into the lawyer, at your computer downstairs. Or you're just like, you're not going to believe this. Yes, she's doing porn, but I also got off, and we're going to need more of her money.
Anger. Oof, I can't speak today. Excuse me. Angry and still like a little regretful. He's like, damn, she didn't do this when we were together.
I know, but you got to ask, right? And that's the hard part where you got to
Right.
ask and be like, hey, is this cool if we do anal and some light choking? But
Right.
sometimes
Right.
people are afraid to ask.
So many people. So that's a fantastic point. In my chatterbait rooms, like you start to build like online, I guess like relationships or whatnot.
Yeah.
So the same people come into my room. They're my fans, like like I know what certain people like, and it's unbelievable to me how many people are just lonely. Like they come to me and they talk. They can't tell their significant other, their desires, their wishes, their what they want in the bedroom. And I just like my best advice to them is just talk to them. If they're not into it, um, then nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? But you have to speak to your partner about these things, and they're not. Nobody's talking, and I think so many people would be more sexually gratified if they just spoke with their partner more or shared. Like if they find something on Pornhub, or if they're watching me and they like something, share it with their partner and say, I would love to try this sometime. I have guys bring their wives onto the cam room and say like, hey, like I wanted to do this. So I think it's definitely a lack of communication out there.
Yeah, there's a ton of that. And I think if you're going to have a long-term relationship, you kind of have to knock all that out
Mm-hmm.
and get it out of the way with the other person, first of all, to make sure they're cool with it and
Right.
whatever weird shit they're into. Because let's face it, some people cross the line one way or the other where you're just like, oh shit, I was unaware that you wanted me to piss on the carpet and then watch me through a Ring camera
Yep.
as I was on all fours and stared over it like I was a dog until you got home, which is a
Right.
thing that happened
Exactly.
on our show one time. Yeah, somebody came out and admitted that on our show one time, and it was just like, oh shit, you think you know a person, you know? You
You
think you know a
think, you
person.
think. You
Um,
don't. You really don't know people. It's
no.
it's wild. It's wild.